On Project Bad Boy, we have a Jeep Wrangler JK 2007. This is my son's Wrangler. We call him Son of Bad Boy. He'll be on here later. He's going to help me with his project, his Jeep. But we're going to put a radiator in it. Like I said, it's been leaking and there's no fixing this one, so we're just going to replace the radiator. Off this top shroud to get the electric fan out. You just have to pop loose, what is that, four little snaps, and that little shroud comes right out. Mud dauber's nest up under there, it looks like. Alrighty. Next, we've disconnected the electric fan harness. Okay. We also did the sensor on your air intake tube, and now we're going to pull the intake out of the vehicle altogether. There you go. That just sits down. That box just sits in those 3 grommets over there. Pretty simple. That gives us more room to work. And we're also going to replace our upper and lower radiator hoses during this project, so we need to get that thing out of the way anyhow. Now there are two 8mm bolts holding this electric fan in, and one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. Okay, down here at the bottom of the radiator, those 3 little plastic rivets are attached to the electric fan. We had to snap those loose before we could take out this fan. Okay, now we're going to lift the fan straight up from the top. Out goes your electric fan. You can see with the electric fan out of the way, you have all kinds of room to get to your engine and everything else. The drain petcock on this vehicle, on the JK, is not on the back side of the radiator where I thought it was. It's actually on the front side. Let's see if I can see in there real quick. We got it all going in this pan down here. But, let me see it right here. I can't see, there's a glare on my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, over there. But it's on the front side. It's very difficult to get to. So, FYI, it's on the front, not the back. We're going to go ahead and take the upper radiator hose off. Got the clamp off there. We want to go ahead and get this other, well, never mind. Go ahead, son. Okay, there's draining out a little bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take this clamp off. Like I said, it's a good time to replace all this stuff. This Jeep's 11 years old and never had had the hoses replaced. There we go. We got that out of the way. Good job. And there's another one over here, the lower radiator hose. And with that fan and the air box out of the way, you can get to this stuff really easy. But we're going to come back in a second and take out the grill, which consists of these screws, little plastic screws across the top, and then the grill just snaps in. That's called dropping your tool.
Bad Boy wouldn't do that though.
No, Bad Boy Junior's learning. Okay, here's one of the bolts. 8mm bolt right down there for the condenser. And the other one is behind this harness. This all on the driver's side. There's another one right there. That little bracket. I'm assuming that's it. And the fourth one, geez, can you see it? It's right in there somewhere. You see it? Yeah. All right, they're kind of hard to get to. You have to use a wrench, combination of a wrench and ratchets to get to it. Before we can get the radiator all the way out, there's a little air shroud that's just held in with a couple plastic rivets. That's what he's trying to break loose over there. We did one here on the driver's side. It looks like the harness, but it's really not. It's a little plastic air shroud that we may or may not use on the new radiator. Okay, we got the little shroud loose on the side down there, little air shroud. Now the only thing that should be holding this radiator are 2 10mm bolts at the top. There's one right here. He's working on the one on the driver's side and the passenger side. And hopefully this thing will lift out, but based on my experience and my luck, there's probably something else attached that we're not aware of. Matter of fact, I know there's one more. I remember saying there's supposed to be one more 5mm bolt, 8mm bolt on this side. We detached all the little fan shroud, air shroud on the side. We had a 5th 8mm bolt on for the condenser. The hook's on the driver's side over here. And now we're going to see if this bad boy will come out. We're going to see if anything else is holding it. We don't know. It takes 2 hands. There's one. Looks like it's coming. And back up a little bit. Is it still hooked? Does it feel like it's hooked to something? Let me look down there.
Oh, I got it.
He said he's got it. Can you see what it's hooked on? On both sides it might be catching. It's a tight fit. And just get to go up straight and level. There we go. There it is. She's out. Yeah, we'll see what was leaking. Just put it in the same way. The same way it was sitting in the vehicle, son.
Leaking down here.
It was leaking over here somewhere, probably. We can't really tell. But it was leaking somewhere. We're fine. Alright. Since we have the radiator out, we took advantage of this opportunity to spray some degreaser down in here in the engine compartment to get rid of some of the mud and all the grime and some of the residual coolant that spilled out. And we're going to spray her down so we have it nice and clean. And I'm going to put this radiator in here in just a minute. Okay, here we are with the new radiator. We're about to unbox it. Bought it at one of the local retailers. Originally listed for $218. They gave Bad Boy Jr. over there, son of Bad Boy, a discount. Gave him a discount on it. And you were out the door for what, a little over 200?
Came out at 203 after the discount.
203. So, for some reason, the Jeep radiator is very expensive. So bring it on out here, Bad Boy Jr.
I'm badass.
Alright. So just don't drop it now. You get to buy you another radiator. Alright, looks pretty good. What in the world? The other one have that? Oh, never mind. What a dumbass. They got the petcocks, the necks there plugged up. Alrighty. Yep, looks good. Nice and clean, new. And we found out our leak on the other one was over here on this side. Raise that up for a second. It was right here on this seam on the old one, where the tanks, the plastic tanks, are attached to the radiator itself. It was leaking right there. And once it starts doing that, it only gets worse and worse. So we decided to replace it, do it the right way. And I'm with everybody else. If you load it up with stop leak, you're going to have a problem. I put a small can in there, and that's why we did the back flush. And we flushed out the system really good, so we shouldn't have any more issues. And we're going to try to get this installed before the sun goes down, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. There's the Liberty. Oh, by the way, while I'm at it, now I'll make another video for the Liberty. But we got new tires on the Liberty. Okay, we have the new radiator installed. We don't have the fan, the little electric fan on there yet. Ran into a couple issues with the condenser here, AC condenser. If you remember, there's 4 bolts, one on each corner out here and one on the side. Well, this bottom one down there, you can see it right there, that bolt hole doesn't line up with the new radiator. And we got a little play right there. We're probably gonna have to zip tie that back, but it doesn't line up at all. No matter what you do, it's not gonna line up. The other ones went in there. Where's it at? Down there on that little bracket. Then there's one up here. And you can't see this other one, but what's behind this harness. Just be aware, as usual with aftermarket stuff, it doesn't always fit correctly. We did get our upper bolts in. You got your 2 bolts up here, one on each side. So now we're going to put the electric fan in. Okay, we got the radiator in, like I said earlier. We got the electric fan on. Turned out to be a pain in the butt to get the fan back on there, because some of the bolt holes didn't line up correctly with this aftermarket radiator. Just like the, what was that, the condenser. We had a hard time with the condenser. One of the bolts didn't line up with from the condenser to the radiator. But we made it work. We got it together, a little bit of engineering. We had to actually trim up this shroud because it was making contact with the radiator, with this seam right here. We had to trim it up in a couple areas. And to be honest and be fair, I don't even know if this is an original original electric fan for this vehicle, because we bought this vehicle used. It kind of looks like it might be aftermarket, and I think that's part of our problem. But now we're going to put the overflow coolant jug back in there, and it just slides in. Let me see the back of it real quick. It just got a slide at the bottom and the top, and there's notches in the back of this fan housing, and that's all. That's the only way you connect it, and that's all there is to it. Just back in place. Wasn't as hard as we thought. It was pretty simple. Problem is these wires down here, these cables for this winch, and this mesh behind the grill kind of got in the way a little bit, but the grill is just held in with these push pins on the top here. There's about 6 of them, goes right across the top there, and it snaps in across the bottom. You can't see the snaps, and a couple below the headlights. Pretty simple. Once again, we're through until we get the hoses. Okay, bad boy back with you here. We're inside the garage in the bad boy compound. We're going to put a new lower, let me see that hose. A new lower hose, part number, it's upside down.
23234.
Yeah, 23234. And it's, what is that, a Gates hose?
Yeah.
Gates hose. Alright, that's the lower hose. They didn't have, after we ordered it, they still didn't have the upper hose. We're going to reuse the old upper hose for now, because we need to get this vehicle back on the road. But we're about to slip this hose on here, and we'll be right back. Okay, we have the airbox assembly back on here. It's kind of a pain in the butt because these cables here for the winch made the box not want to sit in there correctly. Reattach your crankcase ventilation hose right here, and also whatever this is, this little sensor right here. There you go, snap it in place. We got upper and lower hose on, everything's good to go. We're just going to add some coolant and make sure we don't have any leaks. Like I said, we had to use the old upper radiator hose because for whatever reason the correct hose did not come in. And of course we're going to tighten up the intake boot right here. We're going to add some coolant and start this bad boy up. We topped off the coolant. We're good to go. We're going to start it up. Let it get. Hey Josh, make sure you have the heater on high, and we're going to get up to operating temperature and add more coolant as necessary. But I believe this job is just about done. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.